Today, we're heading to a tiny kingdom in the Himalayas that's trying to do something, well, something pretty much impossible. They're building a hyper-modern city of the future without losing their ancient soul. And believe me, this is way more than just architecture. It's a huge, high-stakes experiment in how you can have progress without sacrificing your culture.
So, to really get what's happening, you need to picture where we are. We're talking about a country that even today has 0 traffic lights, not a single one. Their busiest intersection? It's directed by a police officer using these incredibly graceful hand signals. This isn't a country that's stuck in the past. It's just a country that moves to a completely different beat.
And that's what makes this whole thing so mind-bending. This exact same nation, the one that has so carefully guarded its unique way of life, is now jumping headfirst into building a city of the future. And that paradox, right there, that's the heart of this whole experiment.
Okay, so what is it? It's called the Ghelefu Mindfulness City. And this isn't just some fantasy on a blueprint. They're actually building it right now. This thing is the absolute centerpiece of Bhutan's entire vision for its own future.
Just so you can wrap your head around the scale here, Ghelefu is designed to be a massive new economic hub right on the border with India. And it's going to be about 3 times the size of Singapore. Yeah, this is no small village project. We're talking about a nation-defining megaproject. The master plan itself really shows this incredible balancing act they're trying to pull off. On one hand, yeah, it's a special administrative region with its own laws, all designed to attract global investment. But then you look closer, and the design is just deeply Bhutanese. The neighborhoods are literally structured like spiritual mandalas, and they're building with local wood and stone. It's this perfect fusion of modern economic ambition and ancient cultural identity.
So, you have to be asking, how on earth do you build a city of the future without completely bulldozing the culture of the present? Well, Bhutan's answer is this remarkably patient, super clever long-term plan they call the Diamond Strategy.
And here's how it works. It's a 40-year plan that basically treats Ghelefu like a giant national laboratory. For the first 20 years, the city will diverge. It'll operate under its own set of rules, free to innovate and try new things. Then, for the next 20 years, the best ideas, the stuff that actually works, will be slowly converged back into the rest of Bhutan. It's a genius way to experiment with the future while keeping the present safe.
Now, a project this ambitious couldn't just happen anywhere. And to really get why it's happening here, we need to understand the unique philosophy that has been guiding Bhutan for decades. And that brings us to the core idea behind literally everything in Bhutan: gross national happiness. And let me be clear, this is not just some catchy marketing slogan. It is written directly into their constitution. So while most countries are obsessing over GDP, Bhutan legally puts the collective well-being of its people first. This entire philosophy is the foundation that Ghelefu is being built on. This careful, deliberate approach is just part of their DNA. I mean, think about this. They didn't even allow television in the country until 1999. Their own king famously had to convince a reluctant population to even accept democracy. Every single step they've taken into the modern world has been slow, intentional, because they think in generations, not election cycles.
So you might be asking, why be so cautious? Well, the answer is right next door. Bhutan has had a front-row seat to see what happens when development is rapid and completely unplanned.
This quote really just frames the central problem they are trying to solve. It is the ultimate balancing act, right? How do you get all the good stuff that comes with globalization, the prosperity, without sacrificing the very culture that makes you, you? How do you have your cake and eat it too?
And these are the exact cautionary tales they're looking at. Places like Bali, which went from this incredible cultural treasure to a place of endless traffic jams and party bars. Or their own neighbor, Nepal, with a polluted Kathmandu and literal trash problems at the base of Mount Everest. Or even Thailand, where a world-famous beach had to be completely closed for years just to recover from the damage of mass tourism. Bhutan has seen what happens when you just throw open the floodgates.
But Ghelefu's ambition, it goes way beyond just economics and careful planning. There is a potential spiritual and even geopolitical side to this that could have consequences for the whole world.
Okay, so there's another, much deeper layer to this story. The Dalai Lama, who is the spiritual heart of Tibetan Buddhism for millions, is approaching 90 years old, and the huge question of who will succeed him is looming over the entire region. And what makes it even more complicated is that China fully intends to control the selection of the next Dalai Lama. That's a move that could completely fracture Tibetan Buddhism, creating this massive spiritual vacuum for one of the world's major religions.
So this leads to a really fascinating question. Could Ghelefu, a city literally built on the idea of mindfulness, in a sovereign and deeply Buddhist nation, step into that vacuum? It could become a new global center for pilgrimage and study, a spiritual anchor totally independent of Beijing's influence.
And all of this leads to maybe the most challenging idea in this whole story. A 40-year plan like the Diamond Strategy. I mean, that's just almost unimaginable in most Western democracies. Our systems are built on 4 or 5-year election cycles. We prioritize short-term results. Bhutan's model, though, it allows for a consistent vision that lasts for decades. We're talking true generational planning.
This quote just puts the challenge so bluntly. When you're talking about problems like climate change or preserving a culture or building massive infrastructure, how can a system that's focused only on the next election possibly compete with one that can plan for the next generation? It's an uncomfortable question, for sure, but it's one that Bhutan's experiment forces all of us to think about.
So, in the end, that's what this is all about. The Ghelefu Mindfulness City is so much more than just a city. It's an attempt to answer one of the biggest questions of our time. Is it possible to get rich without losing your values? Can you join the global economy without getting eaten alive by it? Bhutan doesn't have the answer yet, but they're brave enough to build an entire city just to find out.